Leadership when it matters the most, when we're trying to change the direction of an organization, and when people in that organization have a vested interest in the status quo, which always seems to be the case, doesn't it? Leadership in a turnaround, trying to change the direction of a family, change the direction of a nonprofit, of a company, of a school, of a sporting team, you name it. But leadership when it matters most. What are the key ingredients that go into that? I want to answer that question with a synthesis from 3 books. The first one is The Servant by James Hunter. The second is a book called Leadership and Self-Deception by the Arbinger Institute. And the third is a classic, the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. Let's start with The Servant. In The Servant, one of the pillars to this book is about servant leadership. And servant leaders give people what they need, but not necessarily what they want. How often do we need to do that? Tell somebody something that they need to hear but may not want to hear, especially when we're trying to change an organization's direction. And the pillar behind that is a very simple concept that comes from a Greek word agape, which means unconditional love of will. A love based on will, a love based on deciding that you will love that person. Now that sounds, especially to you if you're in management or in leadership, love of will, come on, this is a little touchy-feely. And with my background is engineering and manufacturing and turning manufacturing companies around. And if you told a leader in the manufacturing world, we need a love as a leader, a lot of them would look at you and laugh. Maybe not even laugh, maybe they would stop looking at you altogether. But here's the truth of it. You could read every book on people skills, and you've experienced this, I know. Someone can smile, listen to you, they can mirror what you do, they can use phenomenal body language, great eye contact, but if they do not value you as a person, you can feel it. You can see right through it. We have a great word, phony, in our language. And you've experienced that, and people have experienced that with you. When you are trying to radically change the direction of a group of people, if you can't create this unconditional love, meaning you value them as a person, even if your opinions are radically different, even if you butt heads on every major issue, if you can't create this agape, unconditional love of them as a person, you're going to have a very, very, very difficult time leading them in a new direction. So it's a love of will, a caring about them, valuing them as a person, as an act of will, not just because you feel that way. I have a good friend of mine, separated from his wife several years ago, and has bounced through a couple different relationships since then, and keeps saying, I feel like maybe I'm starting to feel in love again. And I keep wanting to tell him that I talk to people who have been married for a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4, 5 decades, and they'll tell you that you have to make the choice to be in love. That's agape, that's love, that's act of will love, unconditional love, and that's a feeling that as a leader, if you want to lead a group of people in a radically different direction, they'll feel if you don't have that. So that concept leads us right into one of the pillars for leadership and self-deception, which essentially says that people feel your filter towards them. They feel if you see them as something, if you see them as an object, you see them with a filter. In the book they call it being in the box towards them. You see them as something to an object, essentially, something to move, something to shift, something to resist, something to manipulate. They feel that as well, and that'll create a box or a filter from them coming back to you. And the 2 things I want you to get from this book that relate back to the love and the act of will are that the solution that they give you in leadership and self-deception is twofold. Stop resisting other people and question your own virtue. Stop resisting other people. Easy to say, but the next time you're in a conversation with somebody that you do not agree with, stop resisting them. And I don't mean be weak. I don't mean cave into their way, but stop resisting them. Try to feel with them. Stop resisting them and question your own virtue. Towards the end of his life, Ben Franklin, one of the greatest diplomats in our country in the end of his life, used to say it all the time. I may be wrong, and I often am, but could we consider? Stop resisting other people and question your own virtue. So the third concept from the book Good to Great that goes hand in hand with these and is critical to leading in times that we want to make a big change is simply this. It comes from the concept of level 5 leadership. And Jim Collins says that level 5 leaders have a rare combination of professional will and personal humility. Professional will, meaning they're holding on to a vision with a tremendous willpower. Professional will. We will get to that destination. We will become a world-class school. We will become a world-class entrepreneurial adventure. We will become a world-class family. We will become an unbelievable nonprofit organization, you name it. But personal humility means it doesn't have to be my way to get us there. And I'm hoping through this video that you see that the three concepts that I covered go hand in hand. That personal humility comes from, I don't always have the right answers. Stop resisting other people. Question your own virtue. Care about them deeply as an act of will. Leadership when it matters most. And these three concepts. I wish you the best. I hope that this serves you.